Hello everyone, in this video I'm gonna tie something that's inspired by Kelly Galloup's Cougar Minnow, this wiggly streamer, and it has great action. I changed it a little bit and to suit just my needs I have it here. And the fun part about this is that along with this tying I tied so many of these streamers because I was experimenting what effect I will have. So I was tying them with dubbing loop for the belly, some bear underfur here, black bear, moose hair for the head and collar, and then something similar but just with peacock, something lighter that would resemble more maybe a tadpole or something, I'm not sure, even a kind of a stonefly or whatever, some terrestrial. These were just experiments, something white with the yellow hotspot, with some Arctic fox here, shiny belly, so many things just to experiment and see what works, what not. And I ended up with this little pattern here. And this is I'm gonna tie tonight. So first let's go into materials. Thread that I'm going to be using is Danville's. It doesn't say the denier 210. Actually, it does. I just lost it. So 210 denier. It's strong, so I can cinch down onto hair. The color is obviously not matching anything here, but that's one of the things. One of the points I want to make is that sometimes just don't follow recipes. Use whatever you have, because that way you will actually make something as opposed to waiting to get something and maybe forgetting to make it, or just losing interest in making something. When I was starting out, if I was just trying to get all those materials that I was reading in those recipe books, I would never tie a fly. So next one, the first one will be peacock, and that's a fun way how to tie it to get this like chenille effect. Then black bear's underfur, so I removed guard hairs and I removed the shortest underfur. I'm left with middle portion with it that has these crinkles, and it works beautifully in water. Then the collar and the head are made with nature spirits, all-purpose deer hair in black, so like this one. And that's it. Very simple tie, very fun tie, I would say. And I'm just like getting into this deer hair, and I love it. So let's go. The hook is something barbless, long shank, long point, so hopefully hook more fish. It can be used for dry flies as well as for streamers, so it's kind of a universal hook. It's a bit heavy, but with for example, this much hair, who cares? I mean, it will hold it on the surface. Now, I will start everything with my thread, more or less where I want my collar to start. So let's go here. And almost immediately, I will stop. And here, I want to use peacock. Peacock is one of the wonderful materials, and the longer curls you have for this, longer barbs actually, the better. Also, those upper ones are more wide, so they will give you more fluffy, more full look. What I like to do is I just strip several, and I don't even count. It's a lot. I also like to cut these buttons because they tend to tangle around the thread later on. So I have a bundle of it, and I'm not catching anything here that has teeth, so I'm not concerned too much about teeth here. But still, I want my fly to be as durable as possible. So I'll just cover, and you can notice that I'm stroking back those barbels because I want my thread to soak into them. Okay, Now, because I don't want the thread to show through the body material, I'll just color it with the marker. Okay, sometimes easier said than done. I invert the hook, and then if you watch from the above, it's like a clockwise motion. So just do it clockwise, and then after a while, just start spinning it with your like you would spin a dubbing. And as you can see, it's already looking like a chenille here. Now, make wrap, and then just pull. Let it slide down the thread. Let it slide down the thread, and it makes nice buggy looking body. Now, this is protected. If you stroke it with your fingers, you will feel those segments even. Now I'll just go around, pull to tighten it a little bit more, and then that's it. As I was tying all these flies, I'll just cover it up. As I was tying all these flies, I kept forgetting to add the wing. So I'm just gonna take this clump of bear's fur. So remember, I need to remove some of it. So I'll just go all the way to the pelt. And first I'm gonna grab this bottom part firmly, and I'll remove all those guard hairs, more or less. I'll put them aside. You may need them for something else, for some other kind of a streamer. And as you can see, those crinkly hairs, they're going to wiggle in water because of these crinkles. Now, this looks like a big clump, but when you remove the underfur, the shortest one, you're left with a relatively sparse wing for your fly. And it already has a shape, you will see it. Like just stroke it a little bit. It already has a shape of a fish, more or less. Now, something that Kelly does, and it does make sense when you'll see it now, is that you cut the hair by 45 angle. So usually people will do that the opposite way, but Kelly is doing it the other way. Now, spin the bobbin holder, if you look it from above down, counterclockwise, so the thread jumps towards the tail, and then go around the hairs here and pull up, and then go next, next, next. You can see that I'm not going on the top, one rep on the top of another. No. Okay. Now I'm going back because I want to set the wing, the collar here. This is it. This is my wing, and this is going to wiggle through the water. Perfect. And because of the flat thread, I have smooth surface over here. Now I'm gonna take some clump of deer hair. Very important. Hold it by the tips firmly until your fingers are white, and then remove short hairs and underfur. It will stack your hair more easily, and I will just demonstrate that in a second. Now, the thing that I like to do is I like to pull back. So if you hold this hair here, this hair is very straight, so it's easy to insert it into the stacker. Sometimes these hairs are curved in all directions. In that case, I do the opposite. I go and I put the bottoms into the stacker, so from the opposite way. Look at this. 1, 2, 3. And this is what you get. Just 3 taps. That's all you get. Now, something that I saw from Wayne Allen doing on some caddis flies is how to set a wing without cutting those buttons. I mean, that's an extra thing. So first you want to set how long your wing you want to be. In this case, it's collar, it's not a wing. So find some measurement and then cut it by slight angle backwards this time. So just one straight cut. Counterspin the bobbin holder to core the thread. It will make it stronger, and it will also make it jump into the back side of your fly. So this way. Keep the hair on the top and catch it very shallow, as you can see here. Super shallow. So let's go one, cinch it, and then second one, cinch it even more, and let's go third, and then go through the hair. 1, 2, 3 in front, and look at this. I can pull, nothing will go out unless I break it. The hair hasn't gone all around, it's like just like a semicircle. Now I'll just go backwards, cover those butts up a little bit. Now this is a little bit steep here, so sometimes it can jump down. You may need to cover it, but because the thread is thick, what I like to do is I like to color this, just in case it doesn't show later on. Now the same hair I will use for spinning. This hair is unfortunately short, so just take 2 clumps for this, and I'll cut the tips. I will still remove the underfur. That's something that you should always do. Underfur doesn't benefit at all. So remove the underfur. I mean, you don't need to stack it this time. So I'll try to go as close as I can to my collar. So one goes, the thread starts to disappear. Go second one through it. Let it spin. And then I cinch on it. It doesn't go anywhere. Go to the front. I want to push it back just tiny little bit. 1, 2, just to clear up a little bit. And then one more stack. And then place the bundle here. 1, let it cinch inside. 2, and then that's it. One more, set. 1, 2, and then now I'll go to my web finish here. And this is, for me at least, the hardest part, because this hair is short, so when I start doing my web finish, it's difficult to pull back all the hairs and make the head clear, as you can see. And with my hands, I've been trying to do this, but with no success. But it is important to do it with a flat thread. And set. Now I'll just go and push the scissors, and the final part I'll just use the blade. Now lean your hand onto the vise, and your dominant hand with the blade lean on the hand that is on the vise, so you can actually have more you stabilize your hand. Okay, just try to cut it here. Now what I noticed is that because I'm doing it by an angle, sometimes I can open up here and I can see the thread. So that's why I'm gonna try to do it more parallel to the hook shank. I won't go as deep as before. I'll clean it with scissors. Okay, that's it. Now bend it and push it, but don't push it through the thread. Now I'm gonna cut it here and open this up, and then if you catch the collar, you can actually cut those buttons all the way to it without even cutting too much of it, too much of a collar. I'm going to just do the final cuts. And that's it. Finished fly. Only 3 materials, but black bear, deer, and peacock. Very simple, and it wiggles through the water, as you can see. Easy to make. It practices you. It teaches you how to work with some hair, so how to work with some deer hair, and how to work with some peacock. Obviously, you can make this for dry flies. You can also use this body for nymphs or dry flies as well. And it's not just streamer-based techniques. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, keep safe and tight lines.